Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. What's happening on this fine Friday morning? Happy Friday morning, everyone. That's right, it is Friday. How are you today? How's everyone today? Well, let's bring up the chat. The chat is important. What's up, Bird Bricks? What's up, Brandon? Jim, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. Good morning. Today we went with the Wawa regular. We switched it up from the Wawa hazelnut. We're going full throttle to the Wawa regular now, just to change the pace. I got bags all kind of different blends, if you will, hanging out in front of the coffee machine. But today I got to do something about this because I just washed the desk. I cleaned the entire office. I put up a bunch of TVs. I got MLB Network going on this TV. I got nothing going on this TV. I got so many. I made the office like another man cave. And every time I put my coffee down on my damn desk, there's a ring of coffee. I got to do a better job. But how's everyone doing? Let's take our sip of coffee. I think we need something to calm me down. Am I right? Am I right? So where do we begin? Do we begin with that 76ers loss last night? That was a beat down, a legitimate beat down. And I did not expect it to look that way. It looked that way. It was a tragedy what we had to witness yesterday in Miami. They just got their asses handed to them, and the Heat destroyed them. Now, this is where we won't go too far with the whole after one game, all of a sudden, this team stinks. Come on. After all these games, you win X amount of games, your first seed in the East, and now all of a sudden, this team can't win any basketball games. It's like, let's hit the pause button. Let's relax. Let's not go too far. Both can be true. You had a stinker. It shouldn't have been that way. And there's flaws with this basketball team. At the same time, they still are in the position to grab the number one overall seed in the Eastern Conference for a reason. I didn't like the way that it looked. You did not have Matisse Thybulle. It impact. And look, Doc Rivers did not coach to win that basketball game. You didn't put Ben Simmons on Jimmy Butler. What type of statement is that from the head coach? You basically just flat out said, we're not showing you my hand. You know? Yes, sir. That's how it works, my friend. The grind never stops. What's up, bro? What's going on, man? Thanks for hopping in. Back-to-back shows is a reality. I swear to God, this microphone's in my face like 24 hours a day, which is not a bad thing. Which is not a bad thing at all. I love what I do. I love what I do. We got a preview of what it would be like in the playoffs. Not necessarily. You didn't play your best defender. Defensively, yes. Embiid getting stuck because Ben Simmons is irrelevant. I do think that that's a play. But also, you didn't put Ben Simmons on Jimmy Butler. That's where the issue is. You didn't play your best hand for a reason, just in case you see each other. Where are we here? Didn't know Philly gets Orlando twice? Yes, they play Orlando 2 times. Plays Orlando twice to secure the deal. The problem is, so Joel Embiid, I don't know why he played yesterday's game. Joel Embiid looked a mess. Joel Embiid looked absolutely awful. He really did. Why did he even play? So now, on a back-to-back scenario, you have a situation where he looked like he shouldn't have even been on the floor to begin with, and now there's a back-to-back in play. So it looks even worse now. What do you do with Joel Embiid? Now, I'd imagine he's going to play. I'd imagine they're going to trot him out there and try and get this victory, beat the Orlando Magic, and move forward from there. Well, what version of Joel Embiid are you going to get? Because last night, I don't even know why he flew to Miami. I don't know why he went through what he went through to play, other than he wanted to go up against Jimmy Butler, I assume. I don't know what else was on the table for him because that was terrible. You should not play basketball if that's what you're going to get. If that's what you're going to get, you should not be playing basketball on the floor. So what was he thinking? What was he doing? I don't know. I wish I knew. Who knew things would look worse with Embiid? Well, the problem is the way teams defend him. That's what it's going to be like all season, all playoff long, all postseason long. It's going to be to that level where the intensity is going to swarm him. You're not going to beat him. Or the other team is saying, you're not going to beat us with Joel Embiid. Anybody else can take us down. Joel Embiid will not take us down. And that's the message that's going to be sent. And with that message, it's going to be tough nights at the office for Joel Embiid. And it's not so much just the passes that are going to have to be in play. Obviously, he's going to have to be a smarter passer and stronger in that area to not turn the rock over so there's no consistent fast break points for the other team. But it also comes down to where you're putting guys on the floor, Ben Simmons' inability to shoot. Like, here we go. Here's going to be another coach, right? So let's say this coach also has trouble because Joel Embiid gets doubled and Ben doesn't shoot. At what point is it more the product of the players and Ben Simmons and the rest of the team compared to putting all the blame on the coach? That I tried having this discussion with everybody over the last 5 years. My point is this. If you keep switching the coach thinking that something's going to change over and over and over and over again and nothing changes, I'm just saying hypothetically, if that is the case, and we see another season where it's the same issues, where it's the same problems, where it's the same deficiencies, are we then going to recognize how much more the problem is of the players, which I've just been screaming about for, I don't know, a long time now? Now that I've seen 40 games, this is from Jack. Now that I've seen 40 games, do you think the Phillies are going to get better, or do you think they're going to finish 3 games above? They're probably an 85 win, a little bit more than 3 games over 500. I think they're more than an 84 win team. And that might sound crazy. Like, what? Only an 86? 86. Yeah, I think 86. That's different than 84. I think this team is more of an 86 win team than an 84 win team, which is 2 more wins. So I do think that there's value in that, obviously. That's not like that is a big difference in baseball, winning 2 more baseball games. Yeah, I think that's kind of what they are. You know, if you look at their standings right now, what are they, 20 and 18? Is that their record? Oh, I typed in the NBA. Sometimes I lose track exactly. I just go by games back. The Phillies are 20 and 18. So they're just flirting around the team that we thought we were going to see. 91 games? Nick, come on, man. There's no way that this team is going to win 91 games. To put it in perspective, if you go to 2019 and you think about that Braves team, well, that Braves team won 97. I was going to say last year's Braves team, but because it was a shortened season, it's kind of hard to really tell, even though it's simple to do the math. This Braves team in 2018 was a 90-win season team. I know that was 3 years earlier, so the players are totally grown now in a different spot, but 91 is just asinine, I'll be honest with you. Would I trade Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal and Dame? Yes, I would. And I would prefer probably Damian Lillard over Bradley Beal. But if you ask me that question, would I trade those guys? For sure. No doubt about it. Now, I'm setting up my secondary TV for my Xfinity account right now. If you're asking, Brodes, what the hell are you doing off to the side that you're constantly looking around? I am trying to set up, like I said, I set up this new look in my office. So here's my camera. I got a TV right here with my cable, with my MLB subscription, with my NHL Game Center. And over here, I got a TV. So now I got too many damn monitors here, and I'm excited about it so I can constantly have 5 billion sports on. But I'm setting it up now as we speak to throw on like let's see what we got. I had to set up my Xfinity. Speaking into existence, not going to actually happen. Pure Vortex. Brodes, do you think the Sixers Heat second round series, do you think of a Sixers Heat second round series, or do you think Ben can be better than Giannis if he's more aggressive? Oh, sorry. Brodes, what do you think of a Sixers Heat round matchup? It would be intense, but that's second round matchups. Look at what the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks are going to have to do. That's the second round matchup. So playing the Miami Heat, what do I think about it? I still give the advantage to the Sixers. To think one regular season game where the Sixers were not coached to play the game. They were not coached to defend the game at the highest rate. They did not play a playoff brand of basketball, and they did not set up their rotations and set up their best defender on the opposing team's best player. We watched Duncan Robinson get defended by Ben Simmons. You can only put so much stock into a decision like that. It's because it's the regular season. So to take yesterday, to take the whole thing, you could apply certain defensive pressures that the Heat gave Joel. But let's look at it this way. Seriously, this is a regular season game. The Sixers are still a very solid team just because they lost one game in a pretty embarrassing fashion. It doesn't mean now the Sixers can't win a 7-game series by any means. I do think that it gets taken to this extreme level. So, with Ben, that is an issue. With this second round matchup, though, second round matchups are supposed to be tough. I prefer the Knicks. If you see the Heat, I'd rather the Heat over the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks any single day. The second round, everyone's talking about this. Oh, I don't want to see the Nets, as if that's not a standard, or you don't want to see the Heat, as if that's not a standard second round. Hate to break it to you. That's a standard second round. And by the way, if you're doing things in a standard way, maybe go in another direction. And what do I mean by that? DealDash is the longest running penny auction website and app around. Too good to be true? You bet it is. I've seen a car sold for $900, and I've seen a TV sold for less than $2. So don't be a loser. Stop paying full retail price for the things you want and get on DealDash right now. Go to www.dealdash.com or download the app. By the way, when you register, you can use promo code COFFEE. That's promo code COFFEE for a special offer for some bonus free stuff available. So check it out. Las Vegas A's. What's next? Las Vegas Thunder? Watch that happen. I'm all for Vegas getting a billion teams. I think it's a phenomenal fan base. You saw that with the Golden Knights. It's a great area. I would love to see that for sure. You know, poor Oakland. They're losing all their teams, but they're not getting the support that they need. Amazing. Oh, my God. I almost just knocked my entire coffee over. We got a $5 donation coming in from Chris Sheehan. Why is it after every loss he needs to be traded? He sucks. This team blows. We're a 1 seed. Stop the hypocrisy. We can have concerns, but damn. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, even when the team does win, I've been saying that Ben Simmons is a problem. So that, you know, I don't know if that applies to me specifically, but I agree with you. I mean, there's problems. It needs to change. Ben Simmons needs to change. And if he's not going to change, then you got to have a whole entire identity shift as a team. That's the way I approach it. That's the way I have to look at it. He can't be your point guard if that's the case. And that sucks because the best thing he does is pass the rock around. So you're going to have to find a way to get creative with the guy who doesn't shoot, and he can't have the ball in his hands. Yet his best attribute other than defense, his best offensive attribute is passing the rock, but he can't have the ball in his hands because the three-point threat and the lack thereof shooting is, I mean, you see it. It's glaring holes. But I agree with you with the whole this team sucks thing. Ben Simmons doesn't suck. Ben Simmons does not suck. There's a reason why the teams that were trading James Harden and trading other guys, Ben Simmons is in the mix for a trade back. Ben Simmons does not suck. Ben Simmons is a major problem, though. There is a difference. There is a separation between the two. He might need to be traded. We don't know that yet, but he might need to be traded. In terms of this team sucking, yeah, this team does not suck. This team does not blow. You're right. But just to play a little devil's advocate, Chris, you can win as many regular season games as you want to win against the Washington Wizards, against the Cleveland Cavaliers, against all these teams, even the better teams, too, that you end up beating in the regular season. That's all great and dandy. It really is irrelevant. Ben Simmons in the full court game or in the, the fast-paced game, in the open court, if you will, when they're playing a team like the Orlando Magic, I honestly don't care. I don't care. I'm at the point where I just do not give a shit anymore about a regular season game 32 when Ben Simmons gives me 20, 12, and 7. And then I won't see a damn thing other than standing in the dunker spot going like this when you play the Miami Heat in the playoffs. You know? This is interesting. Would I rather have Ben or Jaylen Brown? I still think Ben, and that shows you my respect level for Ben. Don't tell me that I'm just a Ben hater that doesn't appreciate or recognize his skill. No, I do. I don't think I trade Ben Simmons for Jaylen Brown. I really don't think I would. I'm not just throwing around Ben Simmons for nobody and just tossing it around for anything. It matters who the alternative is when we talk about these trades. But this is where you got to find the line, Philly forever. Ben Simmons is probably the most overrated player. No, I don't. I don't think he's the most overrated player. There's a reason why we have the frustration that we do about him. There's a reason why we feel the frustration that we do, because he is a extremely talented player, because he is very good. He is very good. He has a unique skill set that you can't teach, that is dynamic. So he's not overrated. He is absurd. He is extremely solid. He has so many parts to his game that are eye-popping. And that's why you hear Doc rave about him. That's why you hear guys like Greg Popovich rave about him. That's why you hear all these coaches rave about him. It's asinine, though, to think that, well, he doesn't need to. If you think that shooting's a problem, well, then just look at everything else. No, everything else he does is amazing. The problem still stands, but that doesn't mean he's overrated, because the potential to be that guy, it's there. It really is there. I would give it to Ben. I think Ben Simmons' versatility is way more extreme than what Rudy Gobert brings to the table. But the big man thing in the defensive player of the year, it's been coexisting forever now, because of the blocks, because of protecting the rim, because of the holding down the force in the paint, all of that. When you think of what occurs in the big man category of defense, it's always been going to the big man. But I think it should be Ben Simmons. I don't think it will be Ben Simmons, though. Did the odds move? Should we go to my DraftKings Sportsbook app and check out the odds that we have here for Defensive Player of the Year? The last I checked, it was heavily favored for the Utah Jazz center, Rudy Gobert. And Ben Simmons was next in line. So if we go to futures, go to awards, sorry. And we go to Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, geez. It's even more in favor of Rudy Gobert. Minus 2,000 Rudy Gobert. Ben Simmons plus 700. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm confusing this for something else, I'm pretty sure the last time I looked, it was somewhere along the lines of plus 300 for Ben Simmons. So once again, I could be thinking of something else. I could be thinking of the Sixers Eastern Conference Finals odds, but I'm pretty sure it was Ben Simmons Defensive Player of the Year. But regardless, at this point, Rudy Gobert being minus 2,000 and Ben Simmons being the next one in line at plus 700. By the way, you can download your DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up for all these phenomenal odds and promotion boosts to check things out and put your prop bets in and whatnot. There is an element of that for sure that scares me now that I see minus 2,000. Minus 2,000 for Rudy Gobert. It ain't happening. Bro, thoughts on the J. Cole album? I love it. I'm literally obsessed with it. I listen to it around 12:30 I started it. Not that it's an insanely long album. And by the way, when I saw that there were features on it, I was even more like, whoa, hold on a second. I did not expect to hear 21 Savage or Lil Baby on this bad boy. It's amazing. This album is phenomenal. I listened to it 2 straight times last night before I went to bed. I couldn't stop. I mean, I played it 1 through 12, and then I restarted it and went 1 through 12. My favorite track so far, I like Pride in the Devil is amazing. Pride in the Devil is amazing. 100 Mil is amazing. And there's one more. Amari's good. There's one more that really stood out to me, though, that My Life is good, but I think it was, I got to go back. I got to associate the names more, obviously, with the album. Only 2 listen throughs. Before I give my full-on assessment, I have a rule. You got to listen to the album 5 straight times before you end up having a serious full-on dialogue about how great the album is or isn't. I need 5 straight listen throughs before I can make that assessment. But I'm trying to think of, it's Applying Pressure. Applying Pressure is the other song that is just absolutely insane. Yeah, I like Lil Baby. I think he's got a role, though. I'm not as like giddy on as others as Lil Baby or as others are on Lil Baby. And I think what was the other question? My top 5 rappers right now. I'm a little bit like older school than this new generation of stuff, but uh, I love Drake. All right, if you don't love Drake, you're just a jerk off. But I understand that Drake doesn't compare to the old school rapping. Like it's that new generation. Like there is a different era of rap that pops and is unique in its own way. It's hard for me because and I have like generation top 5s almost, but I guess for me, my top 5s will always be Drake, Kanye, Jay-Z. I love J. Cole to death and Kendrick. Like to me, and that's just me spitballing them, not so much in any particular order, but that's kind of my top 5. $2 coming in from Furcon Korkmaz. Any chance of being afraid of the Heat in the second round? Not afraid. I mean, I'll just go back to saying it this way. It's the NBA playoffs. The second round is supposed to be tougher. You're not supposed to have cakewalks. The Knicks, in theory, was awesome. Why? Because it was a cakewalk. That's not reality of the situation. You see the Bucks play the Brooklyn Nets. That's a second round matchup. Playing the Miami, that's a second round matchup. That's what it's supposed to be more times than not. It's not supposed to be the Knicks who are having a nice run, but they're not a properly built team. They're more of a team going on a nice ride, more so than a real legitimate playoff number 4 seed. Am I afraid of them? I'm not really afraid of them. It's a good basketball team. The Sixers have been great all year. The Sixers have been great all year. If the Sixers play the way that they're capable of playing, and we've seen them play, they should handle business. Jeez, I got the random hiccups. Here's a good point from Thomas. By the way, thank you, Furcon, for the $2. How about coming to Philadelphia? You just watched a game on the road where Joel Embiid was ill, where Doc Rivers did not put Ben Simmons on Jimmy Butler, where you didn't have your Swiss Army knife in Matisse Thybulle. All of that played a role. How about coming to Philadelphia where they opened up to 50% at the Wells Fargo Center? How about playing in that atmosphere? How about that? How about the situation of, you're going to have to come into this environment where it's very hostile and Jimmy Butler is going to get heavily, insanely booed and it's going to be intense. You watched one regular season game on the road where one team had more to play for than the other. And now we're making the assessment that this Sixers team is screwed. We're never going to be able to beat the Miami Heat in a 7-game series. Look, you're going to go through this ride when it comes down to the playoffs. If the Sixers start out 1-0 in a series, you're going to think it's going to be a sweep. If it ends up being 2-0 and then they lose game 3, it's, here they go. They're going to lose it in 4 straight. It's like so reactionary. You got to find that balance. This question's been asked a lot, and not just to me, around the entire sports world here in Philadelphia. AB asked this question. Hey, Brodes, what do you think the chances of Ben being moved if he has a poor postseason? I honestly just don't know. It matters. You're saying if he has a poor postseason. I don't know what Daryl Morey's thinking. I don't know what Doc Rivers is thinking. Who's going to be available? Is a team going to want Ben Simmons? And there's going to be teams who want to get their hands on Ben Simmons. They're going to be thinking the same thing that every other coach thinks when they see him. I'll fix him. I'll change him. It'll happen here. Well, guess what? It didn't happen with Brett Brown. It's not happening with Sam Cassell, and it's not happening with Doc Rivers either. So I don't know. I mean, every coach thinks they have the magical touch and the magic powers. I don't know if that's necessarily the case with a player like Ben Simmons. It just doesn't seem like it's clicking with any coach. But if he has another poor offseason, or another poor season, in the offseason, will that limit the power that you have if you're Daryl Morey for the expense to be on the other side, for it to be expensive? Can you get a James Harden? Can you get a Bradley Beal? Can you get some of these other players, or do you have to settle for something smaller now? Because every team knows they're trading Ben Simmons. Why? Well, because his flaws are costing him. If you're trading Ben Simmons at this time, after you're the number 1 seed and you fail, you're basically admitting that Ben Simmons is the problem of your failures. Why would another team then give up a player like a James Harden, a Bradley Beal, a Damian Lillard, if you're now bringing in a player that couldn't get it done with Joel Embiid. And look, I'm not saying that a team is going to pass up on that talent. There's probably going to be a team to do it. His talent speaks for himself. So I think there's going to be a team that, based off of his natural ability and his body structure and his passing, that it's going to happen. But I'm just saying. I told you the Heat weren't a wash. Did I tell you that the Heat were a wash? I didn't say they were a wash. I just didn't say that they were extremely, very insanely good. There's a difference. The Philadelphia 76ers the last 2 years were second-round exits. They weren't washes, but they weren't insanely, absolutely 1,000% phenomenal, insanely good. I think the Miami Heat fall in that category of a second-round type of team. I don't think they were a wash. It's a regular season game, Mason. I mean, it comes back to, like, it's a regular season game when one team was – they punched them in the jaw. I'll give them credit. They did what they needed to do, the Miami Heat did, but like, let's not act like one regular season game. Oh, look, I told you. It's a regular season game in the NBA when one team was trying and maneuver their way up the standings. The other team, you had an ill center. Your coach didn't put the best defender. I mean, there's so many things here. To think it's just as simple as you lost. Well, okay, you can look at it that way specifically, but I don't look at it that way at all. Good morning, Nathan. What's going on? I'm going to move this light. I feel like the coloring is hitting me with my light here. So I'm going to move it over. It's like turning yellow, fading white. There's something going on here. So give me one sec. All right. Does that make it better or worse? I don't know. It's weird. It's giving me weird vibes right now with the color. I don't know what's happening, but I hated that. I'm going to actually go switch it back. They're an NBA playoff team. They're capable of beating the Sixers at home in the regular season. Yeah, I mean, and then let's not go too far. They are a team that has Jimmy Butler, that has Bam, that has Tyler Hero. You know, they're a team that's playing a decent brand of basketball, but nobody was saying that they're just an egregious team. At the time that we had the conversation of the Heat being 500, all I said was they're a 500 basketball team for a reason. Now, you knew early on they had a ton of COVID issues. Jimmy Butler didn't play for 2 weeks in a row. They didn't have their strongest players available. And we all recognized that. We all stated that. Yeah, well, they went through a lot of problems with the COVID protocols, and it got a little ugly, and it got a little weird. Like, that was a reality. They're not a bad basketball team. They're not a phenomenal, insane, elite basketball team. Take that information for what it is. If Dwight or Luka get their 16th check on the last game of the regular season, they missed the first playoff game. Well, Dwight Howard already got his. Dwight Howard got last night. He's going to have to sit out this following game against Orlando. Did he not get one last night? Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, right? I'm pretty positive he did. Didn't he get one last night? Am I going crazy to think that Dwight Howard got a technical foul last night, or did he not get one? Because I couldn't. Am I going crazy? I seriously thought that he did get one. Well, yeah. Oh, maybe they just gave one to Haslam? I swear to God, I could have sworn. Yeah, he did. Okay. I thought so. Mike Scott in the lineup? Yeah, either that or Paul Reed. Either that or Paul Reed you're going to end up getting. Thomas says, I'm afraid of facing the Bucks. Yeah, I mean, like, afraid is such a strong word, though. There's no reason to be afraid. It's the NBA playoffs. You're going to have to face good teams. Facing good teams is inevitable. So, to me, there's no reason to be afraid. You should be excited. You should be excited to see this team tested. You should be excited to witness this team go up against better talent to see how they match up against those type of squads like Milwaukee. I'm not afraid to see good teams deep in the playoffs. You're going to have to do it. That's the nature of the playoffs. So, there's ways that you can maybe see a Heat instead of a Bucks. There's ways that maybe you can get lucky and see a Knicks team instead of a secondary team like the Brooklyn Nets or so. But it's the NBA playoffs. The deeper you go, you're going to see these unbelievable talents that you're not going to be able to escape. You're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to hide. You're going to have to face it. You're going to have to look at them in the eyes and say, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. So I don't look at it as, well, I'm nervous about it. I look at it as, here's an opportunity. That's how I see it. I look at it as an opportunity. Well, I really doubt it, the unknown. The unknown asks if I think that, do I think that the Lakers will make the finals? I mean, how could I? How could anyone right now? No one knows what LeBron's going to be. Anthony Davis is limping one day, back problem the next day, coming back from this injury the following day. I mean, there's so much in play here with the Lakers. It just doesn't seem like it's their year. Here's the headline, by the way, on SportsCenter right now. Cowboys defense doesn't have a chance versus the Buccaneers in season opener. Why? First off, if you know anything about the Tom Brady era, what happens in September is irrelevant. They don't play the best brand of football in September. They don't stand a chance. I mean, come on. Don't you think that's a little hefty on May 14th? My buddy tells me there's no way the Lakers don't make the finals. Well, back to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It is pretty crazy that the odds for the Lakers are still extremely high. It's either one of two things. They're either sucking you in to make it seem like the Lakers actually have a chance when they don't, or they're just keeping it there because if LeBron was to come back, they don't want to get screwed with these insane odds. The Lakers are plus 400. They have the second best odds still to win the NBA championship at plus 400. The Brooklyn Nets are plus 200. The Lakers are plus 400. And the Sixers are plus 750. So the Lakers are still plus 400 to win the NBA championship. That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me that they are that high still, considering the scenario. Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. The Brady teams, they start, and that's what gives me a good feel about the Sixers, the Eagles, and their schedule. I'll probably talk about the Eagles' schedule. I got to look through my schedule and see when it fits best. But one of the things that you see Tampa Bay at home on Thursday night, week 6. That's an October game. That's not red hot, Tom Brady. Do you get an opportunity to slip a victory in there because it's not a November or a December or a January version of Tom Brady? Is there something to that? The difference is this year they have more comfortability. They just played with one another. They have that support because they played together in the past with one another as well. So that is something to consider also. Have to get that jersey? Get what jersey? Have to get that jersey. Won't matter he goes to Seattle. Have to get that jersey. I don't know what we're referencing here. I'm starting to get uncomfortable with Shake Milton play. Starting to. It's been bad for a long ass time. It's been bad all season, man. Let's be realistic. Let's be honest with ourselves. It has not been good. Shake Milton has been pretty much bad all year long. He's giving you flashes, maybe 6 or 7 games. 6 or 7 games out of 72 is just not good enough whatsoever. So it looks like Ja or Jay, I don't want to pronounce that the wrong way, but goes and says, I'm starting to get uncomfortable with Shake Milton's play lately. In the beginning of the year, I thought he was going to be a playoff lock. Now I'm thinking if we get deep, I'd go Tease Howard Hill. That's been my bench. That's been my bench for a little bit of time now on who I want to see. George Hill, Dwight Howard, Matisse Thybulle, close the door. There you go. If there are situations where it's blowouts early on, the story can change. The headlines can change on the bench. But when we talk about serious action and we talk about gut-wrenching and you're talking about, that sick feeling in your stomach because it's coming down to the wire. And the sick feeling, I guess, is called anxiety. That's what it's called. And it's what we love about sports, but what we hate about sports at the same time. You're not going to have Shake Milton out there and make me feel like I have somebody who can do it. Everyone was so quick to call him the next Lou Will. We got Lou Will off the bench. Your sister's ass. We got Lou Will coming off the bench. We don't even have anything close to Lou Will coming off the bench. Excuse me. Could you imagine having Lou Will off the bench right now? Not even close. Sorry, I got something stuck in my throat right now. Maybe the coffee will help me out. Absolutely not, Bird Bricks. This is absolutely not what to do. See, Bird Brick says we will mix in Maxi and Korkmaz too. No, if that's the case, you lose. If that's the lose, you're in a bad spot. Tyrese Maxey. I mean, I guess if you're saying Tyrese Maxey or Shake Milton, I still don't think I feel great with the raw young rookie and Tyrese Maxey. I'm talking gut wrenching type of games where you're going to have to go to your bench. Who do you use? No way. Are we using Furkan Korkmaz and Tyrese Maxey? There's just no way. You're going to lose if that is the case. You're going to be in a bad spot. Now, Chase, this is going too far. How do you think? Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. How do you think that Tyrese Maxey's overrated? In what world is he overrated? He's not overrated at all. Who's overrating Tyrese Maxey? He's a phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. He's just young and raw. He's phenomenal for his role. I'm not saying he's phenomenal like he's Joel Embiid or LeBron James or Kevin Durant, but for what he does, he's not even close to being overrated at all. That's an awful take, man. I don't know if that's a troll job or not, but that's an embarrassing take on this Friday. Talk about we got to have a segment, fucking brutal Friday takes. This one might take the cake, if you will. Tyrese Maxey's a very overrated rookie. What? What? I would love to hear more, Chase, if you're around. Now, Ben Simmons is better than Tobias Harris. Come on. Like, we're doing this, Ben Simmons or Tobias Harris? Ben Simmons is by far a better talent than Tobias Harris is. No doubt about it. Well, I mean, and this is where this though is maybe why he thinks that way. To compare Tyrese Maxey to Allen Iverson would be not even like it's not even close. But ooh, this is a good question. Who's better, Acuna or Tatis? Ooh, man, I'm going to pull up the stats for this one, even though I don't know if the stats. Man, that is a good question. They are both so damn good. All right, Fernando Tatis Jr. His batting average for his career in 737 plate appearances, 654 at bats, I should say, is batting 292 with 48 homers, 112 RBI. Ronald Acuna Jr. is hitting 283 with 93 home runs. Has a whole nother year under his belt, though, with 218 RBI. Oof, man, that is a seriously hard question because they are so damn amazing. I don't think it's 100%. I don't think it's 100%. Acuna. I think you guys are disrespecting. Like, do you guys watch Padres baseball? What do you mean 100%? I don't think it's 100. Like it's a no brainer. Like it's an automatic. Like it's a no doubter. I think you guys are clearly disrespecting Fernando Tatis Jr. It's close. I mean, to say it's not close, the reaction was insane. So just to throw it up on the chat, Acuna, 100% Acuna. I wonder if there's bias because you watch him more because it's the Atlanta Braves. Because you're used to seeing Acuna play more that you feel that way. He has a whole nother year under his belt, so there might be more power involved. I mean, my man has 41 home runs in 2019, which is just insane. You don't have anything like that with Fernando Tatis. in his first 2 years, but there's a difference between all-around game of just 41. I mean, I'm not saying the answer is not Acuna. To be fair, I'm not saying the answer is not Acuna. I'm telling you that the reaction in the beginning of automatic what? Yeah, but I mean, look, yeah, Tatis had some mistakes out in the field. That doesn't discredit what Tatis Jr. is at the age of 22 years old. You know what I mean? But yeah, there is truth with the defensive liability for sure. I just don't think it's as big of a gap as maybe some thought there was a gap. Both of these players are extremely young. Just like Tatis can get better, Acuna can get better as well. The one thing is the Acuna season of 41 home runs, which he's already at 12 this year, which is just insane. The answer quite possibly can be Acuna. I just think that Tatis got a little short end of the stick. Jeez, this is tough. I don't even know if I. All right, let's bring up Juan Soto to the mix. Start, bench, and cut. Juan Soto, Acuna. I'm going to steal this, Joshua. I'm going to steal this. I might even tweet this out because that's an insane one. Damn. You know, the more I think about this, damn. Whew. Huh. I think I'd start Soto, bench Acuna, and cut Tatis. I think that's what I do. I'm going to tweet this out. I'm going to tweet this out, Joshua. This is a great one. Start, cut, bench. Ronald Acuna Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., and what was the other one? Oh, Juan Soto. I wonder if I should tweet this from my personal account or from the Broad Media account. Oh, give me a second. Let me strategically plan out how to do this the best way, but I'm definitely going to do that. That's a good one, man. That's actually really good. I guess my answer is I'd probably start Acuna. Oh, no. Start Soto, bench Acuna, cut Tatis. Sorry, give me 1 sec. I got to answer this text message. Okay. Sorry. Got a little distracted. Who's better, Nola or Stroman? Well, I know Stroman's having a decent start to the season here. I mean, his ERA is definitely solid. I would say Aaron Nola, even though Stroman's having a phenomenal season right now. I would say Aaron, although, you know, the 3.22 ERA, 3.09, I would say they're almost in that same category-ish. You know, I really would say that. When you look at the ERA, I'd say they're somewhat in the same category, but at the same time, I think Aaron Nola might have some nastier stuff all around. I'd say they're in that same type of tier. Stroman's having a better season this year to this point, but yeah, I would say the name recognition, because I think name-wise, you would automatically think Nola. Production-wise, it might not be that way, and that's why you kind of had that conversation all around where, you know, is he an ace? Is he not an ace? Yada, yada, yada. The classic. Acuna's better, can steal bases from. Yeah, the more and more I process, I think initially I was in shock mode of like, wow, that is a phenomenal question. But now that I've had like 3 or 4 minutes to register it, let it digest, Yeah, I do think the answer is Acuna. I do think that that's the proper answer. Once again, I don't think it's like this insane, obnoxious gap. That would be doing Fernando Tatis a disservice by making it feel like it's that strong. But I do think at the end of the day, Acuna is the answer for sure. It'll be fascinating though to see how these guys play out their careers and to see how strong they can be. First off, what am I doing with this on my television screen? I'm an MLB Central guy. Wait, what time is it? It's 9:45. Duh. What a brain fart by me. We know this show goes till 10, and at 10 is MLB Central Life, but I'll throw a quick pitch on right now. MLB Network has the best channel in the world. It's just that clear. MLB Network has the best channel in the world. Did I just say MLB Network has the best channel in the world? Does that even make sense? Jeez. Did I get married yet? No, I did not. We have our wedding picked out for next summer because of COVID. I have a bunch of weddings this summer as well. So we are not going to get married until the following. We are the following summer of 2022. So living that engaged life for a couple years before making it all happen. Well, yeah, there's no doubt about this. They butchered that. The Acuna team butchered that money big time. Imagine what would have happened if he was seriously attacking the free agent life with the Scott Boras, or I should say the contract negotiation life with Scott Boras as his manager, compared to the road that they went down and just took the money in general. I'm not even talking about games, but I do love I'm talking more about the daily broadcast stuff. But I'll tell you what baseball does that I do love on MLB when they do like MLB Tonight and all. The red zone concept with baseball is just magnificent. Let's throw it on over to Los Angeles where Mike Trout is at the plate and, Max Scherzer or whatever is facing him. Bases are loaded with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, and they go to Mike Trout. And it's like, all right, let's go to Seattle. It's the 7th inning, and there's a no-hitter going. All right, let's go to Philadelphia where Zach Wheeler's pitching a gem. It's the 6th inning, and they give you these live look-ins. Now, I have the MLB TV package, so I'm not going to lie. I normally go full game anyway. Like, I'll throw last night, Colorado's playing Cincinnati. It's a 10-0 lead. Cincinnati scores 8 runs in an inning, and it's magnificent what ends up happening and, things of that nature. I'm watching full throttle anyway, but the fact that they do the live look-ins that way, it's pretty damn unreal. Oh, the Rockies did. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have been surprised. You'd think the Phillies lose in heartbreak ways all the time. Imagine that. I think someone said, I'll be honest, I haven't even created. Shame on me. I'm sorry. I've been lacking a little bit. I haven't even looked up like the full pitching matchup for this weekend, although I'm sure we can possibly figure it out with our brain cells just thinking of who already pitched. But Vinny V on the bump today at 7:30. Why did I think there was a 6:30 start? I wrote down on my calendar it was a 6:30 start. It's a 7:30 start according to ESPN. So maybe I'm wrong there against Mats. And then you have on Saturday Aaron Nola. The Blue Jays do not have, and that's 7-2. What the hell? Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 I am off on my schedule. Big time off. Well, this changes everything. Am I watching UFC this weekend? Of course I am. Hold on a second. I am. This is throwing me in for a loop because it changes my weekend around. I don't know why I wrote the wrong times down for the games on the weekend. They play 7:30 on Saturday. They do play 1 o'clock on Sunday, though. I had 3 o'clock written down on my schedule. because I'm on the air, and I don't mind being on the air when the Phillies play. The way I set it up at the Fanatic, first off, there's a TV in the studio, but I set my iPad up right in front of me, and I stream the game on my Teams app. So I literally watch the Phillies perfectly while I'm on the air. But I'm on the air from 7 to 10 on Saturday. So I thought if the game started at 3, it would be over around 7. And then it's like, well, I'm on the air from 7 to 10. By the time I get home to record the show, there's so much time. But now it's the game's on at 7:30. I'm on from 7 to 10. By the time the game ends, my show's over at the same time. I get home and record. The timing of the post-game pod is a little bit more liking to my schedule. So I'm super pumped up, actually, that it's some late-night baseball. Really annoyed the Sixers didn't lock it up. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you just that they haven't locked it up. Not so much in terms of when you leave on vacation, but where are you going, by the way? Embiid's value isn't getting higher. What does that mean, Jim? What does Embiid's value getting higher mean? Is there a reason that Embiid's value needs to go up? Are you talking about trade purposes? Amazing. Dude, I would never be able to talk for 3 hours. Well, there's commercial breaks. And I mean, I do 4 hours. Normally, I do a 4-hour show or whatever. There's commercial breaks. You get a guest on. There's also there's callers that call in nonstop as well. So don't get me wrong, though. There is an art to it. There's a lot of people that think like, oh, I could talk sports for 4 hours. And there is a craft. There is knowledge that has to be done with it outside of the sports knowledge, like the strategic speaking for 25 minutes type of thing straight through. Like there is an element to that, but 4 to 8, let's say I host a 4 to 8 show. You get a guest on where you ask them questions and they talk. You have a producer to bounce back questions off of, so you're having dialogue. I'm not making it seem like it's a walk in the park, but there's elements to it for sure. What do I think about Matt Moore in the bullpen? I like it a lot more than what I've seen out of the actual starting rotation. That's for damn sure. I don't know how much stock to put into it, though. I'm not telling you that we now have a relief pitcher that I can fully rely on in Matt Moore out of the pen, but it is what it is. JoJo's velocity went down. You were concerned about him. You only have Jose Alvarado when it comes to a lefty. That was the whole conversation before. So, and this whole closer conversation, I know Sticky Chris is kind of making a joke here. Matt Moore, new closer. And I'm assuming that's a joke because, of course, that's a joke. But with Matt Moore, with the closer position, where do you go from here? I like by committee. I really do. Who's rested? Who's up to bat on the other side? The matchups. If it's Hector one night, let it be Hector. If it's Alvarado one night, okay, it's Jose Alvarado. If you got to go to Coonrod, so be it. If it's Brian, why do I always say Brian Kintzler? Is there a reason why I say Brian Kintzler? Is there a Brian Kintzler? There's no Brian Kintzler. It's not even a person. It's not even another individual. I would feel better if there was a football player, a hockey player, an actor, if there was someone named Brian Kintzler that would make me feel okay with why I constantly do that. Brandon Kintzler. If that's one of the guys, if whoever it is that night, anyone on that given night, matchup based, do it by committee. I'm okay and accepting of that being the case. I really am. I think that's the road they should go instead of Hector 100% of the time. That's my personal opinion on it. Oh, Matt Clentax in the chat. Oh, no. Man, you are getting at Ben Simmons in the half-court offense like it will change or like you expected something to change. This is who he is. I think if we fail this season, it's time to move on from him. Well, that's a Daryl Morey thing, and we'll have that conversation and we'll have that dialogue as that happens. And yeah, you know what? I do expect things to change. Why? Because that's how professional sports works. Look at Julius Randle. He is the perfect example of the Ben Simmons drama right now. Did anyone expect Julius Randle to be that way? No. But do you expect players to grow? Brandon Ingram, while I don't associate him with specifically winning basketball, you've seen growth in his game, in his scoring ability, in his touch, in his decision making. There is an element to him that got better over time. Why is that? Because players grow and take steps. Julius Randle is now a guy that you look at as like, wow, look at what Julius Randle did. Look at the step. Players take steps. I expect Ben Simmons to take a step because professional athletes take steps. Look at Joel Embiid. He added to his game over the offseason. No one would have anticipated Joel going from where he was last year to MVP. Players grow. So, yes, I expect players to grow. That's not a flaw on me. It's not a flaw on a sports fan, someone who covers the teams, to change based off of a year of off-season play. I'm not in the wrong. Andrew Knapp fan account. How about my boy being such a clutch hitter? Andrew Knapp has done a great job. There's no denying the Andrew Knapp support group that is there now. He was terrible at times. He hit 198. He hit 213. He couldn't get that timely hit for a long-ass time, and he turned himself into a nice backup. Turned himself into a nice role, for sure. I remember when we hated Knapp. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was responsible, though. It was responsible to hate him. It was responsible to do that. Julius Randle is the real deal. Imagine if he had actual help. Yeah, he earned himself a lot of respect for sure. He's not a number one. You don't win because Randle's your number one. He is a Robin, and you'd be even better positioned if he was like a third guy, really. He still has flaws. There still is an element of his game that needs to get better. He needs to get stronger. But yeah, I mean, there is this situation with him where you need to you need help around him for sure. But that's my point of like watching a player take that next level. There's a point of seeing this man now become a better player. Why can it happen to Randall in an offseason? Why can it happen to Embiid? Why can it happen to Ingram? Why can it happen to every single player? Not every, but 90% of these players. And Ben is just unwilling to take that stride. It is just terrible. Now, best I ever had is trending on Twitter. There's a best I ever had remix that dropped. See, we talked about J. Cole's album that dropped as well. There is a song that dropped last night with Wheezy, Nicki Minaj, and Drizzy called Seeing Green. And it's amazing. It gave me goosebumps. But is there a best I ever had remix? Or is this something that's old that everyone's just going to listen to? Best I ever had remix is really taking me back. I guess I'll have to look into it a little more. But anything Drizzy related, here we go. Hockey can't handle being a pro. Oh, Hazley. I said hockey. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to speculate on personal reasons right now. We have no information. So to say anything outrageous like that is just asinine in my opinion. All right, we are going to end the show here. It's a Friday. I want to thank everybody so much for the support. Obviously, it's been an incredible journey. We are going to have some big things dropping very soon, so I want you to be on the lookout for some of the news that will be dropping over the next few days or so. Remember, Coffee with Brodes is sponsored by DealDash. It is the online shopping platform that is actually fun. I will never forget going on a beautiful Nationals run back when I was in my prime of my hockey career, and I've been chasing that feeling ever since. I may have retired from the ice a long time ago, but I'm still winning now because of DealDash. It sounds too good to be true. I know. I've seen a car sold for $900. It's ridiculous. I talk about these TV screens that I have in my new room, in my new studio. Well, guess what? $2 TVs. It's crazy. Don't be a loser. Go check it out. www.dealdash.com. When you register, use promo code COFFEE for a special offer and for some bonuses as well. Thank you, everyone. You are best. You are the best. You are amazing. I'm going to do that start cut bench thing very shortly on Twitter. I'm going to make a graphic for it. So thank you, Joshua, for the idea. I hope you don't mind that I throw that out there on Twitter and see what the people think about that. It was a really good question. So there's that. What else do we have? The Fanatic, I'm on from 7 to 10 on Saturday. Sunday, 4 to 7. 4 to 7. So, oh wait, no. Never mind. Monday's not Memorial Day. That's the following. Okay. See you guys. You're the best. You're amazing. You're awesome. Best of Brodes coming out soon.